I'm Marissa Cascino, Senior Editor with Washingtonian, and now I will let our panelists quickly introduce themselves. Daniel, would you like to go ahead and get started? You're kind of first in my little row of boxes.
Sure, absolutely. Hi, everyone. First of all, thank you so much for having me on this panel. I feel very grateful to be here. And tonight I'm enjoying a nice glass of Sancerre, which I picked up from the to-go window at my local restaurant, Le Diplomat. I miss it very much. There's this notion that there's this COVID discount. And while real estate is a very much so human-driven process, there's always going to be divorce. There's always going to be death. There's always going to be job promotion, job loss, job transfers. We are in Washington, D.C., and people are very confident in this market. And if we look back at past instances of catastrophe, you will see that Washington has remained a solid market through a lot of economic turmoil, through 9/11 and even more recently in 2008, when by definition we were not only in a recession but also a housing crisis. And so our market, the worst of it is that it flatlined. I don't know that a lot of other major metropolitan markets in the United States can say the same. Maybe some of the panelists might agree that going to the grocery store is a little bit more dangerous right now than buying a home in a sanitary way. And so we have a job to educate the folks, the 70% of folks with stable income, on how they can go about facilitating those transactions in a safe manner. I'm sure everybody who's watching this right now and everybody on this panel probably has something in the queue in delivery from Amazon right now. So no one is worried about the health of that extremely important enterprise to all of us right now. And again, I just there's no way to predict the future, but looking at our recent past, again, I mean, this has been an economy that's held very strong, and I think that adding a huge component of private sector growth to our immediate markets, such as Roslyn and National Landing, what will be National Landing, is only going to bolster all of the strength that each one of the panelists today have noted.
On your side of things, Daniel, are you having to be even more meticulous or more creative with the way that you're listing properties or like making them stand apart and marketing them?
Absolutely. And I've been investing heavily in video production for a very long time. I think most of our clients are quite surprised when our teams show up at their front door and there's 6 people and there's a drone in the air and there's a rented car from a car dealership, and there's we belabor all of these fine points because anyone who's looking to move up and buy a home at any price point, it could be a $10 million mansion or it can be a $700,000 row home. Those buyers want something to get excited about, and we have the ability as real estate agents to control their experience.
This is another great audience question. It has to do with days on market. So if the house, and the example they're thinking of is over $1.5 million, is on the market for a fairly long time, starting with the coronavirus, does that affect the sales price like it used to? So I think what they're asking is, when a house is on the market, it tends to feel like it's stale, or people might think something's wrong with it. Do you think that perception is different because there's an understanding that coronavirus is causing things to maybe stay longer?
It's so specific to the particular pocket of the market and the style of the home and the closed actualized data. Looking at something, I mean, I think a general rule of thumb is that, and what we always tell our sellers to be cognizant of is that, when we identify that average day on market, if we're north of that, typically, there's a direct correlation between the days on market and then the net proceeds, right? Then the list versus sold value. So the answer is yes. I think in the upper end of the market, north of $3 million, 4 or 5, a lot of those folks are just waiting for a little bit more certainty. So maybe in that realm, not so much. But I think if you are, even if it amidst COVID, if you're priced well and the condition of your home is on par with what the market expects, then you should get it sold.
Please be sure to follow Washingtonian on social, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We're going to be hosting more of these virtual events, and you'll be able to find out about them on all of our social channels. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Cheers, everyone.
Thank you.